The battle to save humanity from alien invaders rages on. Follow all the key developments exclusively on this channel. Hello, welcome to the 13th episode of XCOM, Enemy Unknown. The Sky Ranger is landing now just outside this cemetery to stop the latest round of abductions. Evans takes the initial steps forwards, and just that quickly, the first aliens stand revealed. Karam moves forward to a spot that offers both full cover and a place to fire from, but this layout is very awkward and most of the rest are going to struggle to find a similar position. Vorobyov, for example, has excellent cover, but he does not have line of sight on either of the two aliens. For that matter, neither does Baroto or Leroy.
Roger that. Scanning.
Suppressing fire on target.
The first Muton throws a grenade at Karam and not only breaks her cover, he sends her into a panic. And now the second one misses, but in the process breaks up the cover she just moved to. And we see 3 more Mutons literally appear out of thin air. Is this proof at last of the long-rumored alien teleportation technology? Well, I guess that's a discussion we can have at a later date. For the moment, Kuznetsova took a shot but could not connect. They are in desperate need of taking one or more of these Mutons down. And Evan steps up and makes a nice start on that effort. Baroto is heading over to the right to make sure they don't get flanked from that side. And Vorobyov throws a smoke grenade to provide what defense he can. I'm afraid Karam is in a very difficult spot here, though. The combination of no cover and her panic have left her... yeah. And she's gone.
I'm under fire!
And this is one of the primary dangers the soldiers face in a situation like this. The first Muton fires at Evans and misses, but her cover gets broken down in the process. Then the next one fires and does real damage to her. And if you're not standing behind a wall, you're standing behind a car. And a similar thing can happen there. Those cars can be ignited and blow up. So while in one sense the soldiers have good cover, in another they're still very vulnerable here. Baroto checks to see what he can do, but he has very poor shots. Vorobyov takes a few steps forward, but still does not have line of sight on any of the aliens. There's really nowhere left for him to go except up behind the half cover of that wall, and that's nothing more than an opportunity to get killed. Kuznetsova, meanwhile, takes down the first Muton of the day, and if they're a long way from home free, they are at least a little better off than they were.
Got a lot of heat on me.
Again, we see a Muton fire on one of the soldiers, miss but break down his cover. And there are 3 more waiting to fire. Now this first one is missed, and the second one, no. And so now Leroy also has been killed. Between the Mutons' numbers, their grenades, and that devastating plasma fire, if the XCOMers can't put some of them down in a hurry, That unfortunate scene we just went through with Leroy is only going to be repeated. Kuznetsova is just about the only soldier with a real chance to hit, and she takes aim. Yes. Puts him down.
Overwatch. Aye, aye.
Eyes peeled, Commander.
I'm on it.
They're falling back.
Baroto is taking fire, but fortunately for him, he's the one soldier behind cover that appears to be indestructible. Kuznetsova is up again and can't connect
Target's
this
still
time.
underwater here, Commander.
Unfortunately, she is also out of ammo, which means she will not be taking another shot for the next minute or two. Normally that wouldn't be so bad, but she is literally the only one in a position to get any kind of firing angle here. And if we don't have a lot going for us at the moment, at least Kuznetsova did not get tagged by that burst of plasma fire.
Moving to Overwatch. Overwatch. Aye, aye.
Roger, I've got eyes on.
Baroto again the target of plasma fire, and again it's a clean miss. Kuznetsova once again is the target, and likewise they missed her. But this time they have in fact ignited that SUV, which means she will once again not be able to fire at the enemy. She's going to be forced to move away from that car before it explodes.
Scanning.
Got it covered.
And she dashes well away from the car, but this is probably a good move for her. With her sniper rifle, she can shoot them wherever they are, but I believe only the one closest to her will even have the opportunity to return fire. Unfortunately, she did miss her first shot, but she broke down the Muton's cover, allowing Baroto to get a decent shot, and he does connect. Once again, though, we see that roar of theirs inspire panic. Vorobyov moves back to his prior spot, but he still doesn't have a line of sight. The best he can do is go on Overwatch in case one of the Mutons does move in that direction. Evans manages to find a vantage point that she can shoot from, and she hits him hard. Vorobyov has finally managed to get a Muton in his line of sight, but cannot connect. Kuznetsova has what is easily the best chance to hit an alien we've seen so far this mission, and she cashes it in. That leaves two Mutons on their feet, one of whom is only barely alive.
They're falling back.
That said, until each one is dead, they remain dangerous opponents. And as if to reinforce that idea, Kuznetsova takes a vicious blast of plasma fire. Nonetheless, it's the aliens that are outnumbered now, and we're seeing the soldiers get better chances to hit and making them count. With Kuznetsova badly wounded, the commander radios instructions for her to move well away from the center of the firefight. Likewise, Baroto hunkers down. At this stage, they've fought so hard to get back in this fight. The last thing they want is to lose any more soldiers. The Muton takes what may be his final shot and cannot hit Vorobyov. Fortunately, the reverse is not true. Evans moves forward to try to finish him, but learns what Vorobyov already knows. That position offers no visibility. Baroto, on the other hand, puts him down.
On Overwatch.
That was a brutal fight. They were forced to take on 5 Mutons at once in close quarters, with virtually no places that they could have both solid cover and a decent line of sight to fire from. Largely due to the efforts of Kuznetsova helping to whittle their numbers down from the beginning of the fight, they were able to battle through and survive what could have easily been a lethal mission for the entire group.
Quiet. Did you hear something?
Of course, they aren't done yet. As those sounds remind us, there are more aliens here, and they will have to be dealt with as well. These past few minutes, the soldiers have focused on things like reloading their weapons and using the med kit to heal those among them that were injured. Now they're ready to move forward and start investigating these sounds they're hearing. There's no question they will go very slowly and methodically. This is their practice anyway. We see that in virtually every single mission. But having just experienced the fight that they did, I think safety will be foremost in their minds.
Roger that.
Roger, I've got eyes on.
We had been hearing sounds coming from ahead off to the left in the cemetery, and now we're hearing them coming from the right, and we see 3 sectoids. So whether this is the same group we heard before and they've simply moved, or whether that means there's another group that'll have to be dealt with after this one, that remains to be seen.
Got it covered. Moving to
Eyes
Overwatch.
peeled, Commander. What's making that noise?
Again, we hear noises from the left, but a live sectoid approaches from the right, and Vorobyev puts him down before he can get up to mischief. But no sooner is that done than a second one approaches from the right. Fortunately, Baroto is there to take care of him. That's 2 of the 3 sectoids from that group accounted for, leaving just 1 for the soldiers to find and deal with.
Roger, I've got eyes
Got it
on.
covered. Eyes peeled, Commander.
Got it covered.
I'm sure they're hoping this sectoid makes himself a target as his companions did, but no such luck.
Overwatch.
Eyes peeled,
Roger
on
that. Scanning.
Overwatch.
Shh. You hear that?
And just when it seems that he might be too shy to come out, there he is.
Planning them.
And there he goes. With that group of sectoids taken care of, along with the Mutons they already encountered,
Roger.
it seems fairly likely that if they can only find and deal with the source of those noises they're hearing off to the left, that should wrap things up here today.
Come get some.
On Overwatch.
Scanning.
Roger that. Scanning.
It takes some time. They can't afford to go rushing through this place. But as they come closer to that shed over there, it becomes more and more obvious that that is their goal. Whatever is making that noise is either inside or just on the other side of it.
Moving to Overwatch.
Got it covered. My eyes on. hear that?
Vorobyov opens the door and reveals two sectoids. The sectoids apparently decide that standing in a small room with virtually no cover is not the ideal place for a firefight, and they scurry out the other door.
Scanning.
But the XCOMers have been down this road before, so they simply go on Overwatch to see if either of the sectoids come back. And sure enough, one does. Vorobyov wastes little time in taking a shot, and while he does miss, he does an excellent job of breaking up the sectoid's cover. Evans decides to take advantage of that
See ya in hell.
and puts him down.
Got it covered.
Roger that. Scanning.
That leaves one sectoid unaccounted for, and apparently he's not in any hurry to come forward and be counted. Vorobyov, on the other hand, thinks this mission has gone on long enough, and so he steps up and blows him away. And with that, the mission is done. In the end, it is a victorious crew on their way back to the base, but as has been so often the case, it's a victory marred by loss. Because there were other abduction sites that the commander was not able to send a squad to, panic has erupted there, and that's something he will have to try to deal with using satellites. Among the surviving soldiers, all but Vorobyov have earned a promotion. It looks like Evans has been assigned to the assault class. Kuznetsova, meanwhile, will undergo training in how to disarm her opponent's primary weapon by shooting it. Baroto has been assigned to heavy class, and we hope he fills it as ably as Karam did. The combination of death and injuries has left the XCOM squad dangerously depleted. They literally could not even field 6 people right now. The first order of business, though, will be to assign a training regimen to Jessica Evans, the new arrival. And that'll begin with run and gun, tactical sense, lightning reflexes, and rapid fire. With that sorted out, the commander immediately begins the process of hiring new recruits. We mentioned panic levels earlier. Now it's time for the commander to address that by launching satellites. He begins with Russia, both because their need is urgent and they offered the highest financial reward for doing so, and he follows that up with Japan for similar reasons. The strategy behind that move is fairly simple. He is trying to maximize the amount of cash that he can bring in going forward. Allowing Egypt and South Africa to go will have little impact on that. And if he can just get through one more month, he'll lock down France and Australia, the final 2 unprotected countries. Shortly after that, the council gives the commander their opinion of his performance, and while it's not an unqualified success, overall they are pleased. With satellites protecting new continents, it's time to order interceptors to protect those satellites in turn, so the commander puts in orders for both Europe and Asia. That's quickly followed up with Phoenix cannons to make those interceptors more effective. And then construction is begun on the last satellite uplink that they will need. It's been on the agenda for some time, but construction will also begin now on an alien containment facility so that they can capture and interrogate aliens. Completion of the research into the UFO power source opens up construction of an Alarium generator something the commander is considering given the inaccessibility of the steam in the base. A request from France for weapon fragments in exchange for 112 credits is granted. And the cyberdisk autopsy is now complete, allowing the commander to boost the tracking capability of his interceptors. And speaking of improving interceptors, the commander is not going to stop there. They've begun research into an entirely new and improved fighter craft. With the base's power generation capabilities maxed out, we begin construction on a new generator. Next up, the Alien Containment Center is complete. It's been 2 weeks since the last mission, and while they've gotten a lot done at the base, it's now time to go back out in the field. Before leaving, the commander orders up some improvements through the officer training school that should help his soldiers advance more quickly through the ranks, as well as help them heal faster when they're wounded. And now there's nothing left to do but assemble the squad, load aboard the Sky Ranger, and head out. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.